Okay, I'll start. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tatsmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tamsajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschathyade Shatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll recite Srimad Bhagavatam prayers now. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Shinvatam Swakatah Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Radyanto Stohya Padrani Vidunoti Suhrutsatam Nasthaprayeshva Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Tadarajastamo Bhavaha Kamalobhadayaschaye Cheta eter anavidham Stitam Sattve Prasidati Evam prasanna manaso bhagavati bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate vidyate hridaya krantish chidyante sarva samsayaha kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evamanishvare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second, please. Okay, did I close Srimad Bhagavatam? Give me 1 second, Prabhu. I'll just quickly log in to Vedabase. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Kalpataru Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So nice that I get to attend.
Okay, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
In your video, you look to be little sideways and little down. Maybe if there is an option, to just center, it will be nice.
Okay.
It's
sure,
not really showing your.
Oh, is it? Okay, let me, because my laptops, okay. How about now?
Yes, great.
Okay.
Little bit closer. Yeah, awesome, Mother.
Is it good? Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, let me open Vedas, and it was 2:7, Canto 2, text 7. Sorry. Canto 2, I think I have opened Canto 2, chapter 7, verse number 23. Okay, yeah. Okay, so today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, chapter 7, text number 23. I'll recite the verse. Asmat prasad sumukh kalaya kalesha Ishvakuvamsa avatirya guror nideshe Tishtan vanamsa daitanuja avivesha Yashvin viruddhya dasakandhara artim archat. Synonyms. Asmat, asmat, unto us, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant end. Prasada, causeless mercy. Sumukha, so inclined. Kalaya, with his planetary extensions. Kaleshaha, the Lord of all potencies. Ishvaku, Maharaj Ishvaku in the dynasty of the sun. Vamse, family. Avatirya, by descending in. Sorry, Prabhu, I'm not sharing, I guess, right? I just recollect. Let me share. So sorry. If I'm not able to, give me 1 second. Take this now. Okay, are you able to see my screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Kaleshaha, the Lord of all potencies. Ishvaku,
We are
Maharaj.
seeing in different browser.
Oh, different browser. Okay, let me share again. How about now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Ishvaku, Maharaj Ishvaku in the dynasty of the sun. Vamse, family. Avatirya, by descending in. Guroha, of father or spiritual master. Nideshe, under the order of. Tishthan, being situated in. Vanam, in the forest. Sadaita Anujaha, along with his wife and younger brother. Avivesha, entered. Yasmin, unto whom. Viruddhya, being rebellious. Dasha Kandaraha, Ravana, who had 10 heads. Artim, great distress. Archat, achieved. Translation. Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his planetary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ishvaku as the Lord of his eternal potency, Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dashratha, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravana, who was very materially powerful, with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his brothers, namely Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna, are his planetary expansions. All 4 brothers are Vishnu Tattva and were never ordinary human beings. There are many unscrupulous and ignorant commentators on Ramayana who present the younger brothers of Lord Ramachandra as ordinary living entities. But here in Srimad Bhagavatam, the most authentic scripture on the science of Godhead, it is clearly stated that his brothers were his planetary expansions. Originally, Lord Ramachandra is the incarnation of Vasudev, Lakshman is the incarnation of Sankarsana, Bharata is the incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is the incarnation of Aniruddha, expansions of the personality of Godhead. Lakshmi ji, Sita, is the internal potency of the Lord and is neither an ordinary woman nor the external potency incarnation of Durga. Durga is the external potency of the Lord and she is associated with Lord Shiva. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, the Lord appears when there are discrepancies in the discharge of factual religion. Lord Ramachandra also appeared under the same circumstances, accompanied by his brothers who are expansions of the Lord's internal potency and by Lakshmiji Sita Devi. Lord Ramachandra was ordered by his father Maharaj Dashratha to leave home for the forest under awkward circumstances, and the Lord, as the idle son of his father, carried out the order, even on the occasion of his being declared the king of Ayodhya. One of his younger brothers, Lakshmanji, desired to go with him, and so also his eternal wife Sitaji desired to go with him. The Lord agreed to both of them, and all together they entered the Dandakaranya forest to live there for 14 years. During their stay in the forest, there was some quarrel between Ramachandra and Ravana, and the latter kidnapped the Lord's wife, Sita. The quarrel ended in the vanquishing of the greatly powerful Ravana along with all his kingdom and family. Sita is Lakshmiji, or the goddess of fortune, but she is never to be enjoyed by any living entity or living being. She is meant for being worshipped by the living being along with her husband, Sri Ramachandra. A materialistic man like Ravana does not understand this great truth, but on the contrary, he wants to snatch Sita Devi from the custody of Rama and thus incurs great miseries. The materialistics who are after opulence and material prosperity may take lessons from Ramayana that the policy of exploiting the nature of the Lord without acknowledging the supremacy of the Lord is the policy of Ravana. Ravana was very advanced materially, so much so that he turned his kingdom, Lanka, into pure gold or full material wealth. But because he did not recognize the supremacy of Lord Ramachandra and defied him by stealing his wife, Sita, Ravana was killed and all his opulence and power was destroyed. Lord Ramachandra is a full incarnation of 6 opulences in full, and he is therefore mentioned in this verse as Kaleshaha, or master of all opulences. I'll read the translation here, quick ones. Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his planetary expansions, extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ishwaku as the Lord of his eternal potency, Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dashratha, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravana, who was very materially powerful with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and thus ultimately vanquished. So I think in this verse, in just this particular verse, in the single verse, I think the whole Ramayana story is kind of Srila Prabhupada has narrated. So in the first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Ramachandra is Purna Purushottam and all his 4 brothers are his Ansha, who are the extensions of Lord's internal potency. And all his 4 brothers, as well as his wife Mother Sita, are not an ordinary human being. And all 4 brothers are Vishnu Tattva. and they are the quadruple, right? Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. I was also, while preparing for the class, I was also reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5.41. There is a mention of the same quadruple being stated, or level of Vishuddha Sattva, which is said Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Dvitiya, Chatur, Vyuha, Ei, Turiya, Vishuddha. So Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha constitute the second quadruple. They are purely transcendental. And I would like to read a couple of paragraphs from that. Actually, the explanation of the quadruple forms in the Vedic literature cannot be understood by the speculation of a conditioned soul. And the quadruple forms should therefore be accepted just as they are described. And the authority of the Veda is such that even if one does not understand something by his limited perception, he should accept the Vedic injunction and not create interpretations to suit his imperfect understanding. So the quadruple form has a spiritual existence that can be realized in Visuddha Sattva, Shuddha Sattva, or unqualified goodness, which accompanies complete absorption in the understanding of Vasudeva. The quadruple forms, who are full in 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are the enjoyer of the internal potency. Thinking the Absolute Personality of Godhead to be poverty-stricken, or to have no potency, or in other words, to be impotent, is simply rascaldom. And this rascaldom is the profession of the conditioned soul, and it increases his bewilderment. One who cannot understand the distinction between the spiritual world and the material world has no qualification to examine or know the situation of the transcendent quadruple form. So even I had hard time to understand how this extinction happens and all initially when I was kind of new. And so then, yeah, this is helpful, that even if we don't understand, we should, we should just accept how it is, because it is coming from the Vedas. So basically, the first paragraph is emphasizing on the Lord Ramchandra's 4 brothers, as well as Sita Devi. They were not at all ordinary human beings. In the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is writing that Lord Ramchandra appeared for a reason, right? As Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Srila Prabhupada is also stating that verse here, the universally famous verse, right? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharataha verse, that whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice and a predominant rise of religion at that time, I will present myself, is what Krishna is writing in the Bhagavad Gita. So, so Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Ramchandra also appeared under the same circumstances, and that he's accompanied by his brothers and Lakshmi Ji, Sita Devi. So Lord comes with his associates, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his eternal associates, right? And in the third paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing on basically they are leaving on the order of his father. They are leaving the palace of Ayodhya and going to Dandakaranya forest for 14 years. So Lord Ramchandra's Pat Abhishek was about to happen the next day, and all the arrangements were made and everything was all the announcements were made in the whole of Ayodhya. But overnight, the situation changed. But Lord Ramchandra was not at all disappointed, right? As an ideal son of his father, carried out the order even on the occasion of him being declared the king of Ayodhya. So we learned in Bhagavad Gita 2.14 that, oh, son of Kunti, Krishna says, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons, and they arise from sense perception. So one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So Lord Ramchandra is a wonderful example for us. And one of his younger brother and Lakshmi ji. So in the paragraph, it is also mentioned that his younger brother Lakshman ji desires to go with him, and so his eternal wife Sita Devi desired to go with him, and Lord agrees to that. And I came across this little story by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj that I would like to read, that Lakshman's eagerness to serve and Sita Devi's anxiety to serve, and then how Guru defines the service. So what happens is, I'll like to read, in the avatar of Sri Ramachandra, Balaramji also, yeah. Yes, something is wrong here. Okay. In the avatar of Sri Ramachandra, Balaramji appears as his younger brother, Lakshman. And what was Lakshman's constant meditation? Simply to be the servant of Rama, always wanting to serve. He was so anxious to serve that he was doing all the service. So it is described in the story. There's a story of how Sita Devi was, when she married Rama, she came back to Ayodhya and she wanted to have nice, intimate, confidential Leela with Rama and do services for him. But wherever she was, Lakshman was right there, and he was just guarding Rama with his bow and arrow and anything Rama needed. He was just before he could even think of what he needed. Lakshmana anticipated it and had it right there. And Sita was thinking that, what is this? I cannot even be alone with my husband. I have nothing to do for him. These are Radhanath Maharaj's words. This Lakshman is doing everything. So she approached Rama and she told him that, Sri Rama, please, maybe you can ask Lakshman to do something else and go somewhere else for some time. And Rama was thinking, how can I do that? If I take Sita's side, Lakshman will be angry. And if I take Lakshman's side, Sita will be angry. So I cannot make decision in this regard. So let us take this matter to our Guru, Vasishta Muni, and he will solve this. So this is a function of a Guru, to make decision that nobody else like to make, right? So it is not an easy job. So Ram and Lakshman and Sita all came together before Vasishta Muni, and Rama said, everyone, both of you, tell Vasishta Muni, what is your problem? Sita said that when I married Sri Rama in Mithila, I took vow that I would serve him 24 hours a day. I would never leave him. I would always be in his service, but I cannot even keep my vow because this Lakshman, he's doing everything. And Lakshman, he said, from the day I was born, I was serving Ram like this. This is all I know. And I have nothing else in my life. How can she take away my service? So Vasishta Muni, he had to try to satisfy everyone. So he expertly explained that whenever Ram is at home in his private chambers, Sita should be in charge of all services. And whenever he leaves home and leaves his home and he goes out to fight battles or he goes to State House, then Lakshmana should always be there and just serve. So Sita was happy and Lakshmana was also happy. This is a short story that I was thinking of reading. All right, so that's about the third paragraph. Okay, I think it's 7:58, right, Prabhu? I have a few more to cover, but I was thinking I'll focus on, since we have Balaram Jayanti around the corner, I would like to glorify Lord Balaram. So we have only 2 minutes, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just, sorry, I had prepared a little longer, but yeah, I'll just read little. I would like to glorify Lord Balaram. Who is Lord Balaram? So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnation. Lord Balaram, in his second body, he is second body of Lord and manifesting as Balaram to Sri Krishna, and Lakshman to Sri Rama, and Nityananda Prabhu to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishna and Balaram are both one body, and they are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. And he is the source of all of the entire spiritual world and is the Guru, the original spiritual master. And Lord Balaram is the eternal companion of Sri Krishna. He came as Lakshmana with Rama, and later as Nityananda Prabhu with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's the original spiritual master. That's what I read. So all glories to Lord Balaram. We are celebrating on August 11th. So please, devotee, try to attend. That's what I have, Prabhu, for today. Hare Krishna. And devotees, if you would like to add some comments, feedback that I can improve on, please do it at this point.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Agloshal Prabhupada. Yes, Mamti Das Mataji. So I was trying to catch crux of it. So you're saying that, crux of this text and the discussion. I mean, it is clear that you're asking all of us to come for Lord Balaram Jayanti. So your blessings, it will happen. So like Lord Ramchandra is having trouble in the family life. That's what you're saying, Mataji?
Yeah, he, well, yes, Prabhu, yes. Yes, he had to, like, just as I said, the part Abhishek was about to happen, and then the night before Kaikai, he kind of created the whole scene, and then, he had to leave the home for 14 years. Yes. Right, and not only that, like he went to the Dandakaranya forest, and then, I mean, it was not only Ravana. Before that, there were so many demons, and then the Surpanka, right? So
Yeah, that
many challenges.
Inspiring, like as you're telling, Krishna tells this that you have to tolerate, and then just Ramchandra just did it like a piece of cake. When he got into trouble, he just he didn't mind going through the trouble.
Right. So, yeah, Prabhu. For Lord Ramachandra is what you're mentioning, right? That it was very easy for him to clear, right? So, based on what I have learned, Prabhu, from our Bhakti Shastri class, this is he's also setting an example for all of us. That if these kind of situation comes in anyone's life, how do we deal? How do we, what should be our basic values and basic baseline kind of values or principles? Then that we should be based, our decisions during that time.
It's very timely for me. I was really having a crux of emotional thing happening, and it's inspiring that Lord Ramchandra is doing it, and then can remember, meditate, and catch hold of pray for his mercy at least. And I'll remember him more. That's a great news. Yeah.
Good, Prabhu. Yeah, during this preparation time, I also was able to connect closely and was trying to meditate. So yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else?
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhu, we are over time. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was just thinking, looking at this whole, the verses. So, I mean, I see Brahma I mean, 3 verses, right? He's talking about, I think, Lord Ramachandra's.
Glories.
I mean, so far we heard only one, right? One verse.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
He was giving a lot of.
Lot of, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, but of course, in a big, quick summary. So, and also, I mean, yeah, what Lord Ramachandra, I mean, the example that, I mean, no, sorry, the discussion that you and Vamshidhar were having. Right? I mean, whatever thinking, I mean, Lord Ramachandra, I mean, being the Supreme Lord, he can do, I mean, it doesn't need
Yeah.
to go through the things, but I mean, when, I mean, I'm just trying to put, I mean, when something required, he was able to build the bridge, right? So, what I mean,
Yes.
in the ocean, right? So, when
Yes.
it comes to Krishna's pastimes, so, I mean, it's very bewildering. I mean, that is what I was trying to say. Lord Ramachandra's pastimes. Of course, Krishna is more bewildering. But yeah, Lord
Right.
Ramachandra's pastimes is not very easy to understand, right? So,
Right. Right.
this is because he acted in a different ways, different times, right? I mean, of course, always like a showed as a Purna Purushottama, I mean, like perfect human being, how a person should act. But then again, he did extraordinary things, right? No human being can do. But then it's very bewildering the way some of the pastimes happened in the Lord Ramachandra's lives.
Right. Right, Prabhu. Yeah. I was also like, while preparing this, I was also going through a few of the notes in terms of how, you know, um, the situation happened wherein like Mother Sita had to leave, and then after that, after the Ravana's pastime, I mean, she has to prove herself, and then but before that, like, she left, and then, so I mean, it's not only for the family that Lord Ramchandra did, for the whole, I mean, an idle king, like, so he I mean, that's also kind of, I was thinking, and it was bewildering for me, that how he was able to leave his wife for the 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 people who were living in, around in Ayodhya, to prove that, that they should not feel bad in terms of, because kind of claiming that now Sita is kind of was with Ravana, and then, must be having a bad impact, or this, that, what not, because yeah, so that pastime also kind of bewilders me, that why he has to prove that his wife is, wife has to prove this, and the whole situation. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Another thing, I mean, regarding the, I mean, Lord Balram Jayanti, I was just looking at the verses and
Yeah.
I was looking at the purport also on the Balram Jayanti, exactly Lord Balram's came. So, I mean, I didn't plan it, it's a coincidence. Pratibha
Yeah, I
Prabhu is
had.
going to speak.
Right, Prabhu. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, I prepared like, a little bit more, but again, we had constraint of time, so I had to do time management accurately from next time onwards. So yeah, but I had more on Lord Balram's glorification. But yeah, yes. But we'll hear in the class every day, I think, starting tomorrow again. Yeah.
So Krishna is reciprocating to Lakshmikanta Prabhu's desire.
Yes.
He is the one carrying it. Huh?
Yesterday I was seeing Prabhu, it is a surprise. I mean, of course, I thought it is Krishna, but in Prabhupada is mentioned in the purport, it talks about Balaram and Krishna. That's how Prabhupada starts the purport.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
nice.
nice.
Devotional
Right.
service is nice. Huh?
All right, Mataji's Prabhus. If nothing, then we can wrap the call for today.
Okay.
Okay, devotees, have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.